The Krillian horde had swept through the Andromeda sector like a plague of locusts made of metal and fury. In 3 short years, they had conquered 42 star systems, enslaved billions, and reduced entire civilizations to ashen memory. Their strategy was simple and brutally effective: strike fast, strike hard, and move on before anyone could mount a proper defense. War Queen Shakara stood in the command throne of her flagship, the Devourer's Fawn, surveying the holographic map of conquered territories. Each red dot represented a fallen world. Each one fed the horde's insatiable appetite for resources and slaves. "The Valerian system has surrendered," her tactical officer reported, his voice carrying the satisfaction of another easy victory. Their defense fleet lasted 11 minutes. Shakara's lipless mouth curled into what passed for a smile among her species. "Excellent. Mark their industrial worlds for immediate harvesting. We move to the Terran frontier next." Her chief strategist, a scarred veteran named Vorkath, tilted his head. "The humans, my queen? Intelligence suggests they are unimpressive. A young species, barely 3 centuries into space travel. Why waste our time?" "Because they sit between us and the mineral-rich core worlds," Shakara replied. "And because wiping out primitive species sends a message to the ones who might resist." What neither of them knew was that the humans had been watching. Studying. Preparing. On Earth, in the underground command center known as the Crucible, Fleet Admiral Elena Vasquez stood before the largest tactical display ever constructed. It showed not just the solar system, but every human ship, station, and settlement scattered across 200 light-years of space. "Final status check," she said, her voice carrying the weight of humanity's survival. "All ships report ready," came the response from Commander James Park. "Operation Phantom Protocol is green across the board." Vasquez took a deep breath. What they were about to attempt had never been done before by humanity or any other species. It was insane. It was impossible. It was their only chance. "Initiate Phantom Protocol," she ordered. "Let's teach these bastards why you don't corner a human." The Krillian horde entered human space with the same confidence they had shown everywhere else. 12,000 warships, battle-hardened and hungry for glory, emerged from hyperspace at the edge of the Centauri system. War Queen Shakara expected to find a desperate defense fleet, maybe 300 or 400 ships if the humans were smart. She expected panic, disorganization, maybe a brave but futile last stand. What she found was a single ship. The UHSF Indomitable hung in space, alone, broadcasting on all frequencies. "Turn back. This is your only warning." Shakara's laughter echoed through the bridge. "One ship? One ship? Destroy it, Anne." Her words died as every sensor on every Krillian vessel suddenly lit up like a supernova. "My queen," the sensor officer's voice cracked with panic. I'm reading contacts. Thousands of them. No, tens of thousands." "Where?" Shakara demanded, her amusement turning to ice. "Everywhere," he whispered. "They're everywhere." It was impossible, yet the sensors didn't lie. In an instant, human warships had appeared on every radar, in every system, surrounding every single Krillian vessel simultaneously. Behind the horde, in front of it, above and below, every direction showed human ships moving into attack position. Vorkath's tactical display showed the impossible truth: over 40,000 human warships had materialized across the entire region at the exact same moment. "This is a trick," Shakara snarled. "Some kind of sensor interference." But it wasn't a trick. It was something far more terrifying. Humanity had spent 3 years preparing for this moment. While the Krillians had been busy conquering, humanity had been building. Not just ships, but a network, the most sophisticated quantum communication and coordination system ever devised. Every human vessel, from mighty dreadnoughts to small patrol craft, was linked through quantum entanglement to a single command structure. And they had done something else, something that would make military historians debate for centuries: they had weaponized patience. Instead of meeting the Krillians head-on, humanity had scattered their forces. Small groups of ships, sometimes just 1 or 2, hidden in asteroid fields, nebulae, behind moons and planets across 200 systems. They had waited, silent and dark, for 3 months.
And when Admiral Vasquez gave the order, they all activated at once.
The Phantom Protocol wasn't just about turning on ships. It was a perfectly choreographed maneuver involving 43,000 vessels executing the same battle plan simultaneously across a volume of space spanning dozens of light years.
Each ship knew exactly where it needed to be, exactly when it needed to be there, and exactly what it needed to do.
The Krillian Horde, which had always been the one doing the surrounding, suddenly found themselves surrounded. All Horde vessels, Shakara broadcast on emergency channels.
Converge on my position. We regroup and...
That won't be possible, a new voice cut through her transmission.
Admiral Vasquez's face appeared on every Krillian viewscreen simultaneously. You're separated by dozens of light years. Your fastest ships would take weeks to regroup. You don't have weeks. You don't have days. You don't even have hours. You're bluffing. Shakara roared. You don't have the numbers. This is some kind of demonstration, Vasquez interrupted calmly.
All ships, fire pattern Delta. Target only military vessels.
Civilian ships are to be disabled, not destroyed. What happened next would be analyzed in military academies for generations. 43,000 human ships opened fire with the precision of a single weapon.
The Krillian military vessels, scattered and isolated, found themselves fighting not a battle but an execution. Each Krillian warship faced between 3 and 7 human vessels, all attacking in perfect coordination. The battle, if it could even be called that, lasted 27 minutes. On the bridge of the Devourer's Fong, Shakara watched her mighty horde crumble. Ships that had terrorized a galaxy for 3 years were being systematically dismantled. Her own vessel, surrounded by 9 human dreadnoughts, had lost shields, weapons, and engines within the first 5 minutes.
How, she whispered, the word barely audible. How did you do this? Vasquez's face appeared on her screen again. You want to know our secret, War Queen? It's simple.
You fight as a horde, powerful, yes, but ultimately individual ships seeking glory.
We fight as humanity.
Every ship, every captain, every crew member linked together, thinking together, acting together.
You brought 12,000 ships to this fight. We brought one fleet of 43,000, functioning as a single organism. Impossible, Shakara breathed. The coordination required, the processing power, no organic species could. You're right, Vasquez said. No organic species could. Which is why we don't rely solely on organic processing. Every human ship has an AI partner, and those AIs are networked through quantum communication. We think at the speed of light, War Queen. Literally. Shakara slumped in her throne. 3 years of conquest ended in less than half an hour.
What happens now? She asked, defeated.
Now. Vasquez's expression hardened. Now you're going to help us free every world you conquered. Every slave you took will be returned.
Every resource you stole will be repaid. And if you cooperate, if you genuinely work to undo the damage you've caused, then maybe humanity will let your species survive.
And if we refuse?
Vasquez gestured, and the display behind her showed something that made Shakara's blood run cold. Thousands of human ships, positioned at every major Krillian world, orbital station, and fleet base. We already have a warship on every one of your radars too, Vasquez said softly.
We've been in position for 2 weeks, waiting to see if you'd accept our initial warning. You chose to invade. Choose more wisely this time. The surrender was signed within hours. The Krillian Horde, the scourge of the galaxy, became the Krillian workforce, spending the next decade rebuilding what they had destroyed. And across the galaxy, other species looked at humanity with new eyes.
The young species, barely 3 centuries into space, had accomplished something unprecedented. They had won a war that spanned dozens of star systems in less than 30 minutes. In military academies throughout the civilized galaxy, a new lesson was added to every curriculum: numbers mean nothing if they arrive one at a time.
Coordination means everything when they arrive as one.
And beneath that lesson, a warning in bold letters: never give humanity time to prepare.
They will make every second count.
The era of the Krillian horde was over. The age of humanity was just beginning.